welcome, Anne-Marie. How are you today?
Oh, I'm fantastic. How are you guys doing?
It's a beautiful Sunday, and
It is.
we'll be on the air here from 2 o'clock to 3. And what are you talking about today?
Well, I just have a love of molding. I love seeing molding getting installed in kitchens and other spaces throughout the entire house, and I just wanted to talk about that with everybody.
Well, since Dave probably doesn't know what you're talking about,
I
because
know
it's not
what
green.
the molding that I don't love. You know, so we'll
one
talk
loves
about
that
We'll
mold.
talk about your molding.
Let's talk about cabinet mold first.
Cabinet, crown molding, wood molding, different moldings that you would add to the top of your cabinetry to enhance it. I like to do more than one piece molding, so I do like a little starter trim.
So if you do more than one piece, does that mean the cabinet's going to get a little shorter, or does that mean your ceilings are higher? How do you achieve the more than one piece mold?
Great question. Most people have 8-foot or 9-foot ceilings here in St. Louis.
Yes.
And when I'm designing a kitchen, I like to get the cabinetry to go all the way to the ceiling. But that does not mean my cabinet touches the ceiling. I leave a gap around 6 to 8 inches at the top, and in that space, I fill it with crown molding. And it usually takes 2 to 3 pieces of crown molding to put it together to make it touch the top of the cabinet and then the ceiling.
And let's face it, when we're talking about cabinetry, most cabinetry that has been put in forever was a wall cabinetry we're talking about is 30 inches tall.
Yeah.
But there's 30, there's 36, there's 39, there's 42, there's 48.
Yep.
You can get cabinets that are stock, standard size, that you're not paying extra for. You're not going to order a 46.5-inch one, but
There's no
you know,
point,
the standard size that to get you closer to your ceiling.
Most offer a 3-inch increment.
Right, so you can get rid of those soffits that most of us have.
Yes.
And we hate.
I'm always going in and taking out the huge soffit that's up there, and there's sometimes something inside of it, but we're the pros at this, so we figure out what's in there and how we can hide it. Sometimes you can hide it in the crown molding, or sometimes we can move it or handle it as we need to. But getting your cabinetry to go to the ceiling, it automatically makes your room look bigger. Your eyes go all the way up to the top, and you just make it look like, wow, I just grew. I just gained the whole foot up there.
And the nice thing about stepping up molding like you're talking about, if you're in a kitchen, you're moving your stove, and all of a sudden you got to vent that stove, but the joists are going the wrong way. You can run that vent above your cabinets out to the outside where they need to go, and then hide it with step-up molding, and you never know it.
Never even need to
And
know.
you don't have to spend thousands of dollars cutting joists and moving and everything else just to get it vented.
Right. And from the outsider's point of view, it's just a really pretty finishing touch.
Yes.
But really, it's done a great job for us hiding something out there. And there was a lot of carpentry and craftsmanship putting into that molding. Crown molding has
and the
a lot
same
of miter
thing,
joints. And
once you take that soffit out, if you have plumbing, like you say, what's up there,
Right.
you can hide that many times.
you can, It's a really great tool. Yeah.
And nobody needs to know that.
It's better than the big gap that you leave at the top that's just a huge dust collector. Or, some people still like to put Christmas decorations up above their cabinets. You know, that one small month season that they're doing that in, which some people are starting now.
Or last month.
What about the rest of the year?
Or they have plates, or they have a collection of something they put
Right,
up
there's a
there
different-
that, they have to vacuum and dust and everything else. And
Right. Maybe we could do a glass cabinet instead and put those special pieces in there. No one really looks that high either at whatever you're trying to show off.
Now, that's the top of the cabinet.
Yeah.
How about the bottom of the cabinet?
I love to do a light rail molding on the bottom. Some people call it a cove molding.
Now, why would you do a light rail?
First of all, I'd
Other
recommend...
than looks.
Yeah. Well, exactly. First looks, it will finish it off. Even if you're not doing under cabinet lighting, it will finish off your cabinets. It gives it a start and a bottom, and it just looks like you finished off the whole outfit, And then I always do under cabinet lighting in a kitchen. I just feel like, why make this beautiful space without getting more lighting for you to work on at your countertop, and also to show off that gorgeous backsplash that you just did?
Because typically when you do that bathroom or the kitchen, you're adding can lights, recessed lights up there.
Right.
But when you stand at your counter, the recessed lights are throwing a shadow.
Yep, your body's in the way, and now there's a big shadow. Yep.
Yeah.
And or the cabinets are, also making a shadow just for that space. So.
How many kitchens have you started and there's one light in the center?
The ones we're in now, all of them.
One light in the center.
And
that's the entire
How
kitchen.
are you functioning? How long have you lived here? 26 years. Oh, goodness.
And
gracious.
It's a big fluorescent
and
light
you can
by
see-
3 by 5 foot.
Sometimes
Exactly.
it's just one little flush
just
mount
one,
with 2 bulbs in it. Yeah.
A mustard light. You're going, how'd you see?
Yeah.
And then you put all these lights in and you put it on the cabinet and you're going, how did I do this before?
I thought it was old age.
Yeah.
It was making my vision
Nope,
going
it's
bad
just
and
poor
adding too
lighting.
much pepper to something.
Under cabinet lighting is one of those things that once you have it, I don't know how you could ever survive without it again.
Yeah.
It's one of those. It's just incredible. It really enhances everything and finishes it off so much. You can make it a night light too through the house. If you don't, just this morning, I get up real early and run, and so I turn on the under cabinet lighting. That's my light, and it's not too bright to wake anyone else up, and lets you see
Yeah,
things.
because you turn those recessed lights on, which are now LEDs. Oh, we're light. Oh, we're on.
Yeah, that's right. But point over your conversation, we get distracted easily, don't we, John?
I know. That's squirrel.
The under cabinet lighting, though, the whole point of that trim at the bottom is to hide it. Now,
Gotcha.
You'll never not see it. If you're sitting down on a table and you're looking from far away, you're going to know your lighting source is there, just like you'll see a can light in the ceiling.
Right.
But the point is to trim it all off so it's not jumping at you or standing out dramatically. You like things to glow, not to see where it came from.
Number one biggest item people want when they redo their kitchen is an island.
A big island to do.
Big island. I just want 13 people to sit here. Okay, the house isn't that big, but I mean a big island that you can work on. But there's also some nice molding that goes around islands.
Yes. So if you think about what a cabinet looks like when you get it, there's usually a toe kick on the front side of it, and then the rest of it just goes to the floor. Well, we can modify cabinets, first of all, to have a flush toe kick, and I've been doing this a lot recently where if a client really think about how you're using it, are you ever standing at your kitchen island with your toes underneath of the toe kick? Typically not. I'd like y'all to take a time.
Oh, now you're
going to
make me go home and try that.
Test that. So recently, we've not even been putting the toe kicks on the island, but there are some circumstances where we still want that. But other than that, on the outside edges of it, we like to finish that whole space off around the floor, too, with furniture-based molding.
Now, what's the difference between regular base and furniture base?
Well, furniture-based, first of all, comes from a cabinet manufacturer, and there's other shapes and sizes you can get to it. So there's just a different profiled edge on the top, and it's the same color as your cabinetry. Let's say you got blue cabinets. You're not going to put white furniture base around the bottom of the cabinets, and that might be where you have in the rest of the house. So this looks real beautiful and finished.
Is it typically taller than regular base?
Well, regular base, just to be blunt, if you're going around the house, you're finding 3 3¼ inch base. This is at least 4.5 inch tall.
Or you could have, because how many times you've gone in and they've used the casing, which is a 2¼ inch Colonial, and they use that for casing
used it for the base.
and baseboard.
I
You're going,
know.
what the heck? What's that?
Is earth? I know.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, it depends on what the house age is.
I know.
And who built it.
Exactly. But the furniture base really dresses up the island.
It does. And let's be blunt, too. Everyone sees big islands. Is anyone's house completely level from left to right? No.
Yeah, no.
And most people are doing
Well,
hardwood
wait a minute.
floors
Wood's dead straight, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Right. No flex or give. So by the time you put your cabinets in, and we want a very level top surface to your cabinets in the kitchen for your countertop, because guess what? Granite does not bend.
No.
So we have a possibility of having a gap at the floor where the cabinets are, because we put shims underneath of them to get it all totally level. We want to cover that up as well. So Furniture Base does lots of things. It helps hide what we did to make your cabinets totally level, and it really finishes off this beautiful edge around the whole cabinet. So,
well, we're talking about the furniture base, but how about the back of the cabinet, back of the island?
Right. So I think some people that have had maybe a finished off space from 1990s, they might just have had a one big panel wood on the back of their island,
Well,
and that's
now,
it.
Now, there's usually just
There's
like a
trim.
piece of trim work down the
I
middle,
call that
where
mold.
because the gap come
You don't
together.
want to see a seam, right?
Yeah.
Not super fancy. It's better than nothing. But now some people put cabinet doors across the back, or they put wainscot paneling or molding. You can take applied molding is what I term that as. Take applied molding. You can make squares, kind of like you'd see in a dining room around the walls in your dining room. You can also take, like I've just recently done baseboard and turn it around like a picture frame.
Oh.
And then I took some molding and put a big X across through the middle of it. That looked really beautiful
Cool.
when it was finished.
There's a lot of things you can do with molding.
Yep. I've got another job. We're doing something similar to a shiplap look, but vertical. And then we're wrapping it.
You'd make Joanna Gaines just happy right now. You said
would.
shiplap.
I said the word, right? I know. No one else knows what I mean. Vertical paneling, not like 70s.
Or on that show, if it's wood behind drywall, well, it's shiplap. No, it's wood behind drywall. I'm sorry. I'm getting off my soapbox.
I know.
There you go.
I know. It's a trend. That's what happens. And we're slow here in Missouri. We're the last people to get into these trends. But I'm even taking it. There's this really cool molding that I've gotten, and this is not a wood molding, but it's rubber molding. It looks like metal. It's really, really cool. There's all these little rivets that are on top of it. So it looks like I'm wrapping this island with a metal band.
Cool.
It's just rubber. But it's really, really, really pretty when it's all put together.
I like that.
I do too.
You know, so a lot of different places. In the crown mold or the step-up molding, but the crown mold, if you do a 2 or 3 step-up on the cabinetry, you can then maybe not go all the way around the room with that, but still use the crown mold and continue the crown mold around the room so it pulls everything together.
Right. So to make that tone down a little, like if I do 3 pieces crown molding to get the ceiling height, that's like 6.5 inches,
right.
And I just want to take that very, very top piece only, that's where I'd continue that around the whole room. And then you could even tie that into other rooms too. So like your living room, your kitchen, your dining room, you could add crown molding that way, but it doesn't not speak to the new design that we put together in the kitchen.
Well, the nice thing about all the molding is kind of like jewelry.
It is.
You know, it just dresses you up. And
Do you have to do it? No. Does it really, really help? And in the end of the day afterwards, you think, why did I think I wasn't going to waste money on that? That really made the space completed and finished and beautiful. It looks more luxurious when you have this in there.
And that's why you're doing your kitchen, because when you get done, you want to go, yep, that's what I wanted. Yep, well, that looks great.
Let's say you're a client who likes contemporary. Molding doesn't mean you have to be this traditional, tons of, Gothic or applied molding. It doesn't have to be a different style. They make really clean, sophisticated, square-looking ones, cove, real clean, swooped molding looks. They can all go great in a contemporary space or a modern space as well. Okay,
I realize that I'm going to shift gears for just a second. What's your thought on applied panels on appliances? Do you like those? Do you not? I mean, they have stainless steel appliances. Now they have black appliances. They got all different kind of colors. Or do you like the whole panel look? So everything looks like a cabinet.
It all depends on exactly where I'm putting it. If I'm going underneath of the countertop, I'm typically going to put a panel on it. So if it's a dishwasher or an ice maker, just because the consistency of what it will look like, symmetrically across. I'm doing a lot of those dishwasher drawers I talk about a lot. So that's a big 2-drawer look. On the opposite side, I might do a 2-drawer cabinet. So now I've got this symmetrical space of a sink base and 2 drawers. Otherwise, it would be stainless steel or something else on the front of it. I also find that no matter what, you're going to get water on things, right? So if it's stainless steel or any of the metal finishes, you would probably see the water more on that appliance if it's metal versus on the cabinet. But just know water is not the best friend of wood. So no matter what, you just got to clean it. I'm not saying you can't see it, don't wipe it. Please clean it. And then refrigerators, kind of tricky. It depends on what your budget is. If you are getting a built-in refrigerator, I'll probably put a panel on it, because by the time we're at that point, the price of a stainless steel refrigerator door versus a panel ready, meaning it's ready to being applied with a door, the price is very similar. Yeah. But if you're doing just, your standard counter depth, freestanding refrigerator drawer, French door refrigerator with a drawer at the bottom, most of the time I'm not paneling those. Main reasons because on the outside edge, it does not change color. Like they're still gray or a different color than the front of the cabinet.
And the refrigerator sticks out a little bit further than the cabinet.
Yeah, so you see it. So all of a sudden you've got this frame look.
So you might as well leave it the color of the appliance.
Right.
Makes sense.
Refrigerators are, and just think if you're doing a stove or a range, they're usually stainless steel or whatever color it is. So they'll at least talk to each other. The microwave too. You can't cover the microwave. So.
No. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.